Hi, my name is Lisa Moyer and I teach 7th grade math at Splendora Junior High. I was asked to talk about why I'm a teacher. This is the one question that I knew would be asked at one time or another, and the very reason that had me begging people not to nominate me for Teacher of the Year. You see, my reason for teaching is different from others. It's very personal, and it's not something I talk a lot about because, well, I try not to allow my mind to think about the why of where I am today. Rather, just accept my given path and do the very best that I can. My desire to become a teacher started out just like all little girls, I think. I was in elementary school and there was that one amazing teacher that just made me feel good about myself. And voila, my future career path was born. Then I grew up and my life found a new, albeit temporary, path. I got married at 18 and started a family. I valued my role as mom, and I was happy and content raising my 8 children, and boy, they were quite a bunch to raise. Then on January 9th, 2007, I lost my 16-year-old son to suicide. Life as I knew it changed, and it would forever alter my life path, as it did for everyone in my family that day. I cannot begin to describe the darkness that set in, the confusion I was surrounded by every day. How did this happen to us? We were a good family. We raised good kids. I was a good mom. Or was I? That became the question that would consume my every waking moment and slowly change my very being. That night at the funeral home, when I said my final goodbye to my son, I made him a promise. The only promise I could make, because it was really the only one that mattered. I promised him that I would spend the rest of my life making up for my failure as a mom. As my world unraveled around me, I threw myself into school and worked quickly to get my alternative certification so I could start fulfilling my promise. As I worked diligently through the teaching program, my mind constantly raced around, thinking of all the things I could do, things I promised to do. During one particularly long night of no sleep, I realized that most of my thoughts didn't center so much around academics, rather around the mental and emotional well-being of my future students. I was confident I could educate. I could impart that knowledge about academic subjects, but could I teach? I wanted to teach my kids that it was okay to be different and to be confident in who they were as young people. I wanted to teach my kids what it meant to have honor and valor, to teach them that the person they saw in the mirror every day should be a person they felt good about. I wanted to teach my kids why it was important to have respect for themselves and others, and make daily life choices that would propel them towards success. I wanted to teach my kids that no one was alone in this world and show them that I could be their place of peace and comfort, a place where they could always come to feel safe, protected, and loved. I wanted to mentor, to be a friend, someone my kids could count on, and someone they knew genuinely cared about who they were. I wanted to make them feel like they were important, that they mattered. In September of this past year, I lost another son, again, to suicide. As I walked back to my classroom that day, after being given the news, I felt my knees start to give way. But all I could do was think about my promise and my life's purpose. I had to keep it together. I knew my kids would be watching me, and I suddenly realized that I had one more valuable life lesson to teach, probably the most important one of all. I had to help my kids to understand that they too would face adversity and tragedy in their lifetime, but I could teach them by showing them how one can face that adversity and tragedy and still be okay. When I think about who I have become over these past 5 years, I really don't think I'm anything special, and I have come to realize that my promise is not so different from what everyone else does every single day they walk into the classroom. We are all 21st century teachers, educating 21st century students, and our students are coming to us needing far more than just educational knowledge. Our role has never been more critical than it is right now. Sometimes I think we are the last stop for some of our kids. If we don't help lead our kids down the path they were all destined to be on, there may be no one else left to do it. That is why I teach. So to all of those people who allowed me to be Secondary District Teacher of the Year, thank you. I value each of you more than you know. However, there are far better teachers out there that do so much more than I. They deserve to be recognized as Teachers of the Year as well. I will gladly wake up tomorrow and simply start my day the same as I do every day, content and joyful and just appreciative of the world I live in, the world of junior high crazy. Dear son, promise kept.